How's it going, everyone? It is Andre Williams, and over here we talk stocks and we focus on one thing. Always protect your profits. And today we're going to be talking about PROG stock. It did have a pullback today inside of the market. It has been extremely volatile, seeing lows of $2.85 and still being able to close above the $3.30 range, which we talk about what we want to see support actually hold at. I will talk about that further in this video. I won't waste any more time. Let's get into the agenda. If you're new to this channel, I just want to let you know we have timestamps down below inside the description. But if you're a shareholder or you're thinking about taking a position, I highly suggest you watch this full entire video. So the first thing we're going to go over is the technical analysis. We're going to be taking a look at the overall price action. We want to know support. We want to know those key levels so we're prepared in a bearish case scenario and as well as in a bullish case scenario. And then we're going to go on Fintel, taking a look at the recent institutional ownership and as well as the short interest information. The reason why this is important, the short interest does have an impact on the way the stock performs. And then we're going to be taking a look at the order flow distribution. We want to know what was the buying and as well as the selling behavior like on the institutional side and as well as on the retail side. And then when all of that is done, we'll be going into the final thoughts and as well as some more details. So let's get to it. So we're going to be doing a technical analysis for PROG. Let's see how it performed on the day. So it ended up closing at $3.40, being down 2.02%. On the low, it tested $2.85, and then on the high, testing $3.50. When we take a look at the volume stats on the day, you can see we traded at 58.03 million shares, and then for the average volume over 10 trading days being at 102.631 million shares. So you could clearly see we did have below average volume on the day, and it's part of the reasons why we ended up seeing some pressure on the stock. Now, when we take a look at our chart, which is the 1-year daily chart, we could see from the RSI down below, it is right around 64.03. And then when we take a look at our moving averages here, we have strength above the 50-day, the 100-day. We are above the 21-day EMA, and one thing that I love to see, we still remain above the 200-day. So this is part of the reasons why I still remain bullish. Even though we did break through the 200-day when we had that pullback earlier in the market, we were able to recover very nicely, and closing at 340 is a good look. As far as resistance is concerned, it's very clear we have it here at $3.50. So this is a level you're going to want to keep an eye on going into tomorrow. I feel if we are able to pass 350, then of course I'll be looking for a move to see if we can get past this 360 level, and then of course making another move, seeing if we can get past this 375 level. If we're able to do this, of course I feel like it'd bring a lot more volume into the play, and then we can end up getting that test going to around the $4 range and then seeing where we can go from there, because this is a psychological area. You can see we've tried testing this in the past, and then ever since then, right, we've been seeing some lower lows. But for the most part, if PROG wants to consolidate in this area in regards to the mid threes, it's not a bad thing either, because then we can make that push up as that buying pressure continues. So let's see how it performs going into tomorrow. And now let's take a look at the short interest information. So we're going to take a look at the recent institutional ownership and short interest information for PROG. So scrolling down further on the page, green rows indicate new positions while red rows indicate closed positions. So we could see here for today, for November the 2nd, from a recent filing, we had Victory Capital Management with a purchase of just over 14,000 shares. We also do have New York State Common Retirement Fund with a full out closed position here as well. Now, when we take a look at the short interest, we could see for the dark pool short volume ratio, it's at 49.83%, and then for the dark pool short volume being just over 9.8 million shares. Scrolling down further on the page, the short shares availability is at 150,000, updated 26 minutes ago, and then for the short borrow fee rate, it is at 77.12%. As we scroll down further, taking a look at the history of the short volume ratio, we could see for the close of October the 29th, it was 53.76, and then for the close for yesterday, November the 1st, it was 49.83. So one thing that is very clear, PROG does continue to have short squeeze potential, and as far as for the short borrow fee is concerned, it continues to be high, high, and this is one thing you want to be fully aware of, and it contributes to the volatility that we see inside the stock. So now let's jump into the order flow distribution. Now let's take a look at the order flow distribution for PROG. So we can see here on the inflow is 39.50, and then on the outflow is 35.03. So we ended up having an inflow day. When we take a look at the breakdown, we had 0.69 on the large. On the medium, it was 27.31, and then on the small, it was 11.50. When we take a look at the outflow side on the large, it was 0.62, and then on the medium, it was 24.23, and then on the small, it was 10.18. When we take a look at the large scale orders in the last 5 days, you can see for November the 2nd, yes, we ended up having an inflow of 77.49. Now, when we take a look at the breakdown even further, you can see on the small scale side, there was a lot more buying on the retail side than we had selling. And then when we take a look at what happened on the medium, again, we had a lot more inflows. And then when we take a look at what happened on the large, which we just covered, ended up seeing a surplus for the inflow side. Now, when we take a look at the turnover ratio, you can see it was around 40.53%. Of course, this is of no shock whatsoever. There's a lot of traders who are inside of this play. And this is why you have to get used to the volatility if you decide to trade this, or if you're deciding to take this as an investment and wanting to ride it up to the upside. But I just want to make sure that you guys are clear and you know exactly what is going on and how this stock is actually trading. I know many of you are also holding some shares as well, and I want to make sure if you are deciding to do that, I told you guys already, I do not hold shares overnight when it comes to this play. Then just make sure you're doing your homework and you're doing your due diligence and you're maximizing your entries and also making sure that you're managing your risk. So now let's jump into the final thoughts and we'll go over some more details as well. So for my final thoughts for PROG stock, there is definitely a lot of volatility inside of the markets. We know that we have a Fed meeting that went down today that's going to be continuing going into tomorrow. So many stocks were going through some serious fluctuations, and of course PROG was one of them. When it dropped down to $2.85, many people were saying, hey, I was able to get myself a position and then ride it up to the upside. But one thing to be aware of though, we do have a clear area of resistance right at the $3.50 level. So I'm going to be looking forward to us actually getting past this, because as we know, the psychological area is at 4. I still believe that there's some strength in this play because it does remain to be above the 200-day, which I've talked about many times on this channel. And unless it breaks through that 200-day, then I'll make sure to give you guys an update and let you know how I feel about the play. When we went on Fintel, taking a look at the short interest information, it still continues to have short squeeze potential. And this is why I say, keep it on your radar. And even when we take a look at the short borrow fee, it is still fairly high as well. So anyone who is going to be shorting PROG is definitely paying a hefty fee. So if you're in this play, like I said before, do your homework. I want to make sure I emphasize this. You just don't want to buy this stock blindly. You want to see what the price action looks like, wait for that dip. I'm the kind of person where I do not like trading in the pre-market whatsoever. I feel like it's open to a lot of manipulation. Wait for the open, see how far it goes down, and then have your indicators set up so you have confirmation before getting into the trade. I want to make sure I emphasize that for the traders out there, or for anyone that's trying to make some quick money off of this play off an intraday trade. And for anyone who's investing in this play for the long term or even for the medium term, keep on doing your homework. Be aware of what's going on with the company. Stay up to date with all of the recent news that you need to know, because at the end of the day, it is very key that you have high conviction so you can actually see the volatility and be like, you know what? I'm cool with that. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and we'll be talking real soon.